afternoon, members. It's Friday, another beautiful day, and we're here for another update. Update number 6.
Yep.
With our floods and and we are definitely now into recovery mode with our flood, which is good news. However, we're still very anxious about some rain coming tomorrow and Saturday and Sunday. And we're not too sure what that's going to do. And the reason why we're worried is the river is still sitting at a high level, too high for our drainage to release the water that you can see behind us at the moment. Now this water is sitting on 16. We've got it sitting over there on 17. Help me out, mate. 12, all the way down to the 12th green.
13, 7,
13, 7, 8. So we've still got a heap of water sitting on the course, and this water's now been sitting here since the 28th of October, and it's just not good, is it, Nathan? It's just doing damage now.
No, it's pretty much starved oxygen to that plant, and it's kind of gone rotten in one sense.
Yeah.
Easiest way to explain it.
Yeah, so there's a fair amount of hard work and contemplation for board on how we fix all of this as far as timing goes, with our programs going forward into 23. You can see over in the background, this is where the water was coming from 2 and was just powering through 16, down 12, 16, all the way 5 and 6 through to 7. And the damage that it's done with trees. Some over 50 trees.
Yeah.
At the stage of
over 50 now.
Varying sizes.
And they're falling down just sporadically.
Yeah.
A day like today, the tree will just fall over.
And this is because from the first flood, the soil was just so weak, and the power that was blowing through just undermined the root system.
Yeah, because we're on a river flat soil, so there's not much to that soil structure. So the soil is so soft now that these trees are full of water. Everything's full of water, so it doesn't take much for them to drop, and they're known to do that as well.
Yeah. So they were either already pushed over by the floods, or they were leaning so hard we just had to finish them off.
Yes,
basically. Yeah. So what we're going to do today, guys, is we're going to take you through the usual program of how we are going with our recovery program. We will talk about greens, we will talk about fairways, we'll cut to bunkers because as we've said, even if when we get on the course, our bunkers will probably still be GUR. We're going to get subcontractors in this time to do the bunkers, mate, aren't we?
I've saved members a lot of heartache, and they're just too far gone now to scrape the silt out. It's washed into all the sand, so all the sand has to be dug out of the bunkers, essentially. So really the major cause of that is in previous floods, I can remember we would flood once, the water would sit around, the river would drop, and out would go the water. The second flood, we had water coming, it was just raging in for nearly 5 days. 5 days. Yeah.
It just brought in so much more silt.
Yeah, definitely, and it stayed around because the river never dropped.
Yeah.
So, and that's why the fairways have really struggled this flood, and we've just got areas everywhere that have just gone that we can't help.
And the silt cover was easily seen to be so much heavier, and it was found by you guys trying to wash the greens down. So you were going in the first flood an hour to an hour and a half on greens.
Yes.
And in this one, 3
to 4 hours.
3 to 4 hours.
Yeah.
My God. So that just gives you a great indication of just how much more silt is in the bunkers. And I know I can hear the volunteers cheering. We won't be going into the bunkers to scrape them out. It's just too hard. The work's just too hard. What we're going to do is we're going to go across to our 6th fairway, and we're going to talk about the Santa Ana grass and how that's been surviving. So we'll see you soon. Righto, we're getting very technical and clever with our videos now because we've moved to another spot. Having a bit of fun now, aren't we?
Definitely.
So what we wanted to do, and I'm not sure the camera's going to pick it up, but this is our we've got two trial holes, Santa Ana, which we line planted, and on 6 and on 12. We're on 6 at the moment, and we gave them a cut this week, and it is unbelievable how good these fairways are, Nathan.
Yeah.
So Santa Ana doesn't mind a flood.
No, it's actually they're looking quite good and very firm underfoot, which is fantastic.
I'll just put my foot down here for you, Alfie, so you can see how well that grass is just sitting. If we had a golf ball, you'd see how good that ball's sitting up. Members, I can't wait for you to come out and get on these. We won't be having tee-ups on these when we get back on the
No, definitely not.
No.
Definitely not.
So this is a real endorsement that the direction that we took with implementing Santa Ana is the correct one, without a doubt.
Yeah, it's more the recovery effort from the flood. That's been the big thing, that we've been able to get a mower on these a lot quicker. We're able to cut them a lot shorter, and we can treat them a little bit more mean, I suppose.
You got the mowers on them quicker because they're just firmer than over here on 16 and 15 and 14.
Yeah, definitely. So there's a 10 mil difference between what we're cutting this fairway at to the cool season fairways, because we've got to be very careful with them, with disease and with the humidity that we've been having. So we're slowly dropping the heights on them, whereas the Santa Ana really likes to be cut into to make it spread and tighten up to be a great surface that it is. So,
and what I'm blown away with is just the firmness of it compared to those ones over there. You can still feel the ground moving under those ones.
Yeah.
And these ones are cherry ripe, ready to go.
Yeah, it's because the Santa Ana has stolons and rhizomes, which is roots underneath and above the ground, so it really stabilises the ground, and you can just notice it out on these fairways. The thing that's that I'm thoroughly surprised at, we were worried about the bottom right hand side of both 6 and 12, where there was shade and what have you. And Alfie, if you scan down there now, I know it's a little bit far away probably for us all to grab, but that grass is really quite healthy down there. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's the whole fairway is pretty good. There is still a few little wet spots here and there, but nowhere near like anything else.
Well, we've got to remember this was under a metre of water.
Yeah, exactly.
For quite some time.
It
had
the same amount of water as everything else.
Yeah, and you can still see tree damage down over here on the right. We've got a few trees leaning over, so we'll be working on those over the next week or so.
Yes.
But I just wanted to get the camera down here and talk about how well we're trying to find some positives while we're not on our golf course, and I can't wait for the members to actually see holes 6 and 12 and just how well they're coming up. We're going to go next to the greens and talk about our greens. So we're going on backwards, but we're going to talk about our greens. So just before we start talking about greens, I wanted to, this is a wonderful example of the couch grass and the power and the bend.
Yes, the cool season turf.
The cool season turf. You can see how this is our old grass when it's been underwater, how hard it's just taking to take on, and how well the couch is holding up.
Yeah.
So this is what's sitting under all the water on the golf course, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. So there's not much life to it.
It's going to take time. So this is a good example of the difference between couch and the cool season.
Yep. Yeah.
And while we're here, and we were talking about bunkers, Alfie, if you want to come over here, these little mounds that are sitting here are the great work of the volunteers, where we were scraping back flood 1 sand or silt, and the second flood was just ripping through here, and you can see the power of what it was doing, where it rips into all the edges of our bunkers, finds something to dig down. This was the bunker that had the goldfish in it. I think the birds have got them now, so they've found a way to escape. But this is just one, Nathan, this is just one example of how the work we've got with bunkers. This is excavator stuff, subcontractor stuff.
Yeah, definitely. It's nearly every bunker is pretty much exactly the same as this. So it's too much work for volunteers and for the ground staff to scrape the silt out and start from scratch.
Start from scratch. There's a lot of work to do on our bunkers, guys. So we'll give instructions to match on what's going to happen when we do get back on the course. I will get back to when we're going to get back on the course shortly. But let's go over here on the greens. And we have been talking about 7, 8 and 18. Now, just on 7, the damage wasn't quite as bad, and we're trying something a little bit different where we're slicing these hollows, unfolding them, sand, and packing them in again.
Yes.
We don't know if that's going to work yet, do we?
We don't know. I'm pretty confident that it will, because I've done some other stuff with drainage underneath.
Yeah.
At the end of the pipes, so water won't be able to get back up the pipes. So hopefully it doesn't happen again. But we've peeled back the turf, recompacted it, and got it back to final level. It doesn't look real good at the moment, just because it's just been done this week. But give it 2-3 weeks, and it'll be back in play.
We're optimistic about how 7 will come up.
Yeah.
But the damage on 7 was nothing like the damage on 8 or 8.
No, definitely not.
So we're going to, we've made a pretty brave decision here. Course has recommended that as of Monday, we strip 8 and 18 back off and really go hard at it. I'll let you talk about the work we're going to do on it.
So first step is we need to remove the turf off the surface. We're going to reuse this turf, so we just need to place it to the side of the green, and so it'll just be off to the surround a little bit, and then we need to we're going to change the shape of the green a little bit just to find some more pin placements. We've found it very hard to get pin placements on 8 and 18, so we're going to reshape the green a little bit, make it a bit more of a 2-tier green. So we've got a lot more pin placements.
So Nathan, with the 2 tiers, there'll be a more, rather than a slope, there's going to be a more pronounced step. Is that what we're...
Yeah, we don't want too much of a step, but there'll be a much more severe upslope.
But 2 clear levels. So what we're really going to get out of it is more pin placements than what we're getting.
And that's the main aim, that we can change the golf course from difficult to pretty easy fairly regularly. And just share the load around the green, the stress and the wear and stuff.
Well, I don't think you're going to get it. We're going to get a lot of complaints from a lot of the members, because I know they found these 2 greens to be quite troublesome. But it doesn't mean they're going to be any easier. It just means they're just going to be a little bit flatter and more pin placements, so that we can actually put them on a step or just below a step.
Definitely.
Frustrating the members when they're putting.
Just that downhill putt might be a little bit harder, maybe.
So this one here, without putting you on the spot, there's going to be a step here and another step over there.
Yeah, it'll kind of a step at the front, and then it'll go up at the back.
Right. Okay. So we're scraping and filling. Okay. Good. Because once we pull all of this grass up, there's a good ½ metre of sand that we can just mesh and mould.
We're going to bring in sand as well. Because you don't want to lose that inconsistency of sand. You want to try to keep that consistent through the whole green, because then you get different levels of sand. So the green might be drier or wetter at spots. So we need to try to keep that sand at the same level. And then from then, once we shape the green, we compact it, we add amendments, compact it, and then we lay the turf back down.
Right. So while that's happening, a temporary green in front and a temporary green in front.
Yes.
For a while.
Yeah.
Okay. And once you're confident that the grass is ready here, you'll start cutting those in.
This will be ready next week.
Okay.
We'll start cutting in that green next week.
And the reason we're doing that, guys, is it's about a 6 week to 8 weeks.
6 to 8 weeks. Really, the weather has been so inconsistent this year, obviously, with everything that's happened. So 6 to 8 weeks, we should be back on playing them.
Okay, great. So we've got that to look forward to. And we've made that decision because 16 is going to be problematic anyway, 16A and 16B, because 16A has been underwater for a hell of a long time.
16A is the worst green at the moment. Obviously 8 and 18 are the worst with drainage issues, but silt was left on 16A for so long that we just couldn't access, and we had irrigation dramas. So that actually, it was like the fairways. It's rotten in the middle.
And with all the water that's been sitting on 16B, we're just not going to be able to play it anyway. So So we are heading to what we're going to do starting golf, but I think that's pretty exciting actually, that we have a chance to actually rectify some of the things that have been frustrating us. So,
while we can, I think it's a great idea.
I agree. All right, so we've talked about greens, we've talked about fairways and bunkers. In our recovery plans, we are keen to get members back on the golf course.
Definitely.
And with our captain Greg McLeod and Nathan and Bill, we've actually paced out a 9-hole golf course. And the thing that we've recommended is that we will play the 9 holes twice. There'll be 4 holes on the island and 5 holes on the main course. And we'll have 3 shotgun starts, 7 o'clock, 11 and 2:30, so that you can whip around and have 18 holes. That's the plan. Now, as to when we can start that, had great ambitions, we might have been able to do that this week, but rain again frustrates us. It's still wet, a little bit too wet on the main course to go to some of these areas, especially off edges and stuff like that. And also, at the moment, the island is in 2 pieces with the water level. It's still cutting through the 4th tee and the 3rd green.
Oh, it's not cutting through, it's coming up through the drain pipe.
Coming up through the drain pipe.
But it's almost joined.
It's almost joined, right. So until that goes, we can't get down onto the island to play the holes that we want. And we're, as I said at the start, we're still quite anxious about the rain coming tomorrow and the state of the river. So further up the river, Nathan, the goss is that Heritage is under and there's still a heap of water up there still to come down.
Still to come down, and same with Eastern as well.
So every time it rains, it's got to go somewhere, and our anxiety is that the river, well, the problem is, while the river's high, as I said, we just can't get the water to evacuate out with the drainage system at the moment, and while that's happening, we just can't get the work done that we want to get, so it's very frustrating. Hopefully, we're in between next Wednesday and maybe the next Wednesday when we call our 9-hole golf course to be up and running, and then we can get down here and start playing some golf. That's our goal. We'll probably do another quicker update a little bit sooner rather than later. As soon as we get past this weekend, maybe Monday, Tuesday, we'll do another update, and we might be able to call a play on our golf course in these nominated 9 holes that we're looking at. So for now, we'll just leave it at that. I hope you found this one informative. Thank you again, Nathan, for your team and all your work. Thanks for the board for their support, and Bill and his team on keeping the clubhouse open. The kitchen is open. We still want you to come down. The simulator's still alive. The club needs all of its members to come down and support the club. And we hope next time we're here, we've got better news for you. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you.